Hello everyone, welcome back to All the Mods 8. I've done a little bit between episodes. I have kind of automated the alloys from Mekanism, because we're getting a decent amount of diamonds now, so we might as well automate this. I did it a little bit wrong. Also, my sounds are a bit messed up right now. I did this thing, which, now that I look at it, this is basically how you do it with refined storage. So with refined storage, you have like a crafter and it's pointed at a chest. And then you put all of the bits into the chest. And in the metallurgic infuser, you can set the import for this area and you can set the import for this area. Luckily, none of the two shall ever meet. So you can't put like a redstone in here. It will always go in this thing, which is called extras. That's not the right one, this one. Yeah, it's always called extras. So you can't put like iron in the extra compartment, if you know what I mean. So the way that I do this is, well, I've color coded them as well a little bit. So I've got like the ones that require redstone in red. I've got the ones that require diamonds in blue. The ones that require the refined obsidian in purple up there. And this one's to make steel. So you can make steel from this. Or at least you can make steel dust. I've also set up a recipe over in this. And all this does is it smelts the steel dust. So one steel dust equals one steel ingot, right? So this does kind of work. I had a bit of an issue when it came to channels. So behind there is where I've got this little setup. And this little setup is a bit, yeah, basically I connected this up to the system and it took over like a bunch of channels. But you don't need channels for this because it's like self-contained. This is like its inventory. So that's why I was like proper confused for a little while. But I got it working. And the way that we do it is in here I've got the recipes for all the enriched stuff. Also obsidian, if you put an obsidian in here you get 4 obsidian dust, which you need for the refined obsidian, so that was pretty good. I thought I'd need to set up a crusher or something like that, but nope, you just enrich it. A little annoying because this needed power and I couldn't figure out which side to put it on, so I put it right here. I was trying to hide all of my like wiring and stuff, but a few of these you can see like the flux point and stuff. And underneath, well, you can see up here. So on top of this one, I've got ender chests. I went a bit overboard and I put one ender chest per one of these metallurgic infusers. This, I realise now, is total overkill. Because, as I said, this is how I would do it with refined storage. I've been thinking about making a quick guide about it for the longest time. Quick guides, by the way, is the new kind of series thing that I've started. It's not a series, it's just whenever I find a build and I'm like, oh, that might be useful to remember for the future. I'm going to make a little tiny video, not just for you guys, but for myself. Because I do end up going back in my own videos and thinking, how the heck did I do that? And, you know, I skip through all of my waffle, find the little area what I've done the thing. And sometimes I miss like the exact thing that I need to do in my own videos. So I started a new little series. My first one is about how to do the quick and cheap power in, see the sound didn't come through for that. That was a bit odd. But yeah, I made a little tiny thing about this. I think it's a 10-minute video on how to do cheap and easy power. I kind of talk about how much you can get out of it as well. But anyway, it's back to this. What this does is, so for example right here, 8 iron, is that 8 iron dust? Okay, instantly I found a bug. That's amazing. With my own stuff. This is what I ended up doing, so this is wrong. So what I can do is oh, you have to start it from the beginning. Oh. It's annoying that the sounds have gone away. Anyway, if I do No, I want enriched. So I want this stuff. So if you just use JEI and do the whole, you know, encode pattern, that thing, it brings it up like this, and it requires this mechanism, like the amount. So I don't know if you can actually make... Oh, you can. Oh no, it says infuse types. Interesting, but that's not what we want. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to put an enriched carbon in there, like that. Now, there is a little bug right now where if you middle click, it picks this one up. I'll show you. So middle click and it picks this one up. But what we can do is set that to 8. Middle click on that one, set that one to 8 as well. Put the pattern back in. So what this is going to tell the infuser, or the pattern at least, is that you need 1 enriched carbon, which it will get from my enrichment chamber. So it will send 1 coal, I think I'm using, to the enrichment chamber. It will get us an enriched iron. It will then put 1 enriched iron and 8 iron into that chest that we've got downstairs. So if I quickly grab this, run over here, and stick that back in. So that'll put 8 iron, 1 enriched carbon into here. The enriched carbon, I always click on the wrong one. There it is. Enriched carbon will come out of this one here and go into this side. And the iron will go in the top. So enriched carbon will end up here and fill this up. The iron will go in the top right here. And it should, in theory, give us all the stuff we need right there. So if I do steel and do 8 steel, click start. Oh, that's probably already seen that I've got 3 from that. No, it hasn't. Cool. So this is now... Excellent, train just went by. This is now enriching the carbon, and that put it in this barrel. You might have seen it in the corner of the screen right there, but the carbon went into the side here, the iron went into the top. I have set this so it exports, so underneath here I've got myself the ender chest, so that's going into the system, and yeah, that's all it's doing. It's making the whatchamacallit first, enriched iron first, and then when it's got all 8 enriched iron, it will put 8 enriched iron and 1 enriched carbon, and it will do the same thing. So carbon will go down and into the side of this. The enriched iron will go up and down into the top of this, and we'll get ourselves some steel dust out of that. Then the steel dust, when it's done, will go over to the furnace over there, smelt up and give us some steel. So let's wait for it to finish with that last one right there. Fingers crossed. There it is. There you go. So did you see that? It's put the enriched iron in the top, and that is creating us the steel. I did want to go see if there you go. It instantly put in one of the steels right there. So give it a sec and we might see another one. There you go, there's the steel dust. So if we look in here, we are getting our steel come in. It's pretty neat, isn't it? So the reason I said that I made a mistake here is because we don't need to do 4 setups in Applied Energistics, I don't believe. The reason you do 4 setups in Refined Storage is because in Refined Storage you would push, so let's use this as an example. The crafter would be attached to this barrel in this example. If you put all of your recipes in the same crafter, then if you were to try and make one of these atomic alloys, it would lob everything into this, and then you'd end up getting like what's a good example? Say you wanted to make some steel and an atomic alloy. it would put some carbon in here, and the carbon would go in here, and then it would try and put like some other stuff in here, like an osmium might land in here, and that doesn't do anything. Osmium and carbon don't make anything. They don't mix. Or it will put an alloy in there, and let's say it puts the refined obsidian, or the enriched obsidian, up the top here. That would fill up with enriched obsidian, and then the tier 1 alloy would go in here. It can't do anything, and it just like bricks itself. Can't do anything. Applied Energistics, though, has got that nifty feature, this thing here, the blocking mode. So ignore the content of target inventory. You can do not push crafting ingredients if inventory contains a pattern input already. So I believe I could do something with the blocking mode. I could do this blocking mode and then set that up with a chest, or maybe right up against an infuser or something like that. I think that would be easier, and we could do it all in one, or maybe two, because we might not have enough pattern space, because there's still quite a lot of patterns. There's 2 in that one, 1 in that one, 2 in that one, and this one's got 2 as well. This one here needs its own pattern encoder, because, or pattern provider, sorry, because it's got, you know, the 5 things that you need to make the enriched versions of things. Always try and make stuff with enriched, because you just save yourself resources in the end, right? Imagine using 2 diamonds to enrich one of the alloys. Or is it 4 diamonds you would need to enrich one of these? I think that's how that works. I don't think that's correct right there, actually, looking at it. Refined obsidian dust. Oh no, that is correct. How do we make oh, it'd be up in here, won't it? Yeah, there we go. So 1 enriched diamond right there will turn into 8 refined obsidian dust. Got ya. Yeah. Right. So yeah, that's kind of my convoluted way of doing it. This does mean that we have access now to all of this stuff from Mekanism, and if you couldn't tell, we are going to do a little bit of Mekanism today, and that is we're going to get the miner, digital miner. So we're going to make one of these, and we are just going to lob that in the nether with a tag in there to say get us all of the ancient debris you can find, and we'll set it to be like the highest radius you can. That's the plan for today at least, and that'll get us some ancient debris for Netherite. I am actually not going to use this like too much. I'm only going to use it for Netherite, I think. And then what we're going to do with that Netherite is create a bee. And whilst I'm at it, I might as well, whilst I'm over here, I suppose. I was looking through, and this is new for productive bees. At least it's new to me. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Might not be in the other versions, like all the mod 7. If it is, I'm so mad at myself. I should have done this from the beginning. But there's a thing called a radioactive bee, which you require an iron bee and a creeper. Creeper bee is just a regular Minecraft bee, and you can just use some TNT on it. It turns it into a creeper bee. I think they give you powdery combs, which then give you gunpowder. But once you've got a radioactive bee, what you can do is you can kill it with like it being radioactive in the area. So we will probably make a... Is compact machines in this? Compact machine, yeah. So we're probably going to make a compact machine. It doesn't have to be that big, just a smallish, maybe a normal size compact machine. And what we'll do is we'll somehow get some radiation in there. Probably some nuclear waste that we break. I'll have to wear an entire suit to make it so I'm not radioactive. And then we're just going to release a bunch of radioactive bees in there. Because radioactive, there's a second type of bee called the wasted radioactive bee. So, radioactive bee dying to radiation have a chance to turn into wasted radioactive bees. Wasted radioactive bees don't pollinate on any flower. Instead, they absorb radiation from their surroundings. I just had an idea, actually. Or I had a thought. We don't have entangled blocks in this, do we? Entangled. We do. When did that get added? I think that might have been in from the beginning, to be fair. I was just... Maybe I'm confusing this with... All the mods 7 to the skies. I don't think it's in that. But that's really cool. I'm definitely going to use these then. It's pretty cheap as well. I think in all the mods 7 it requires... Wow, yeah, very cheap. It requires some unobtainium. So it's quite like end game at that point. But we can use this to entangle a radioactive waste barrel in a compact machine, and then you put some radioactive waste in that barrel, and then it just you can break it in the compact machine. Really radioactive in the compact machine, but outside the compact machine it's not at all radioactive. So that's the plan. And the reason I wanted to get this bee, is because its honeycombs... Wait, what honeycombs do the radioactive bee give you? Just radioactive combs which turn into uranium, right. But the wasted radioactive combs, you put them in a chemical oxidizer, you get nuclear waste. So that is a way better way of doing things. You don't have to have a fission reactor set up. I think you might have to have one to begin with, because how are you going to get radiation? But what you can do is you can make some nuclear waste, stick it using one of these, stick it in a radioactive waste barrel, and then break it in that compact machine using like some sort of braking mechanic for the radioactive block, the waste barrel. And then the bees can fly about and they can just absorb the radiation and then pop back into their hive, produce more of these, and you could just have one bee that is like feeding the rest of the bees with the radioactive waste combs. That's the plan. We're going to skip fission reactor if we can. We might have to make a tiny one to begin with, but then once we've got it up and running with the wasted radioactive bee, sorry, because we do need to kill one of these with radiation, then yeah, we should be able to run a bunch of stuff off these combs. I'm really excited to get into that, to be fair, but that's going to be later on. And then the last thing I had on my list that's been up there for the longest time, and I just haven't had time to talk about it. We found a bunch of these ametrine. This block here, I'm not even going to pronounce it now, but you can add a block of this to a netherite chest piece, and it gives you better armor. Unfortunately, it's still not as good as some other armors you can get in the game. Otherwise, this would be really decent. Really, really decent armor. But I think because we've already started on it now, we are going to go and make a Mekanism suit at some point. But for now, I thought that was a decent... Like, if you don't want to get into Mekanism, and you don't want to get into the Supremium armor... This armor. There's even like a better tier, an Awakened Supremium one, which... Yeah, that requires a lot of stuff, but yeah, you can make this stuff, which is 10. Starts at 8 with 3 armor, or 3 diamond thingies. I don't know what these two things mean. What's the 8 and what's the 3 there? I don't know. But that goes up to 10 and 3.5, which is still better than the 9 and 3.2. So this is still better. Where were we? We were trying to make one of these digital miners. Before I make a digital miner, there is something that I really want to do. And that is... I want to upgrade all of these straight away. So right now this is an enrichment chamber. But an enrichment chamber can be an basic enrichment factory. And then it can be upgraded to advanced enrichment factory, elite, ultimate. So I want to make all of these ultimates, so they're super, super quick. Plus I'm going to get all of the upgrades for them. So in Mekanism there's also some upgrades that you can put in. So I'm going to get some speed, energy, and I'm going to get muffling because yes, I can use this muffler to turn the sounds off for all of these. And then I would never hear them. I can even do it in this area and only this area is affected because this thing is really good. But I feel like, I've explained this a couple of times, I feel like the muffling upgrade is in there on purpose. Like Mekanism, they want you to create the muffling upgrade for each of the, you know, machines that you've got. And it requires some resources, so it feels a bit cheaty to use this when there's like a mechanic that you can use from the mod itself. So I am going to do that. Anyway, first things first, I'm going to get these things made. We need 8 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8 times 5 for these two. And then 4 times 5 for the muffling upgrade. Because each of the machines can take 8 speed upgrades and 8 energy upgrades, and they can take 4 muffling upgrades. I might put 3 in each of these so we can still hear it slightly, but depends how annoying it is. Oh, and it's raining. Oh, and it's dark as well. Nice. Oh, that's not good. I just slept through a blood moon. I didn't know you could do that. It must not have said I am a blood moon just yet, but I slept through it, so that's a good sign. The sounds going away for the elevators is weird. Right, I'm going to get rid of all of these things. I might leave the wasted radioactive comb up there, and we'll come back to that later. And I do want to make a digital miner, but let's quickly do these things, and I'll go off and make, not an anchor, muffler. I'm going to go off and make these and installer. I'm going to make 5 of each of these installers. So this will just, instead of having to upgrade the enrichment chamber, for example, from this to this, you see it requires an enrichment chamber. I'm not going to do that. The installers are something that you can just right click or shift right click and it will upgrade it straight away. So you won't lose like all of your side configs and all of that. So I'm going to make all of those and then we'll be right back. Okay, I've got all of the upgrades. I've already put the upgrades in this one and this one because I needed the steel dust to make the muffling upgrade. And I needed, well, you just saw it there, right? I needed the infused alloys. So I needed it for this. Now, I am just going to start off with the energy upgrades. There you go, blood moon. Now it wants to do a blood moon. And then I'm going to go around and do the speed upgrades. And then I'll finish off with some muffling upgrades. So this should be super silent now. And now I can create all the installers. Installers are slightly annoying because, well, you need the basic controls and then you need the higher level, the advanced control circuits, which do require some alloys and the basic control circuit. I have actually got a recipe already in place over here for the basics. I kind of need another one of the patterns to do some of the control circuits, but I'm going to do those by hand just for now because I do know I need 1, 2, 3, 4 times 2, so I need 8 per installer, and each of these just grows from a single basic, so I need 8 times 5. There you go, you can see all of the osmium going in. I think all the redstone has already gone in. Osmium's just taking its time to get in there. But 18 and then whatever double 16 there. There you go, you can see. Because one of these takes 2 redstone. So that's why the pattern I've got for this is 4 osmium ingots for 1 enriched redstone. Because enriched redstone is 8 redstone. Right, with the installers, I'm going to install them as I've got them, because it just speeds everything up. So that is the first installer. I also kind of want to go in here and do auto sort on for all of these. That one as well. That one as well. Up there and right there. So what that does is it splits them out. So if we look at... Okay, that's finished now. But if we look at all of those, if something comes in here, it'll automatically like split out. So you can do 3 things at once. I've actually already made the installer for the second tier. I only thought about doing this afterwards, but now make 5 things at once. Pretty decent, pretty decent. Yeah, now I need to make the elite and ultimate. There's the elite tier. And finally, we've got ourselves the ultimate tier that's going on every single one of these. And these can do a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can do 9 at a time. And it's on auto sort. So if we ask for, I don't know, a ton of like alloys, regular alloys, you know, the ones that you make here, these ones, it will fill up all of these and put in loads of redstone. This can actually hold more redstone as well in this situation. So it's pretty good. Right, with that, let's try and make this this miner. So for the miner, we are going to need some teleportation cores. So we're going to need 4 atomic alloy, so we can easily do that. That should go off and make us that, and we can have a look actually. Let's have a look at it working. Okay, that was way too quick. There you go, you can see it up here. Just did a bunch more. There's me atomic alloys right there, it's pretty good. Get rid of all of this stuff now, because we don't need it right now. That is 2. I thought that might be a quest. I've been getting quests, or achievements at least, all the way through this. So that's 2 of those. Need some steel. I made some steel earlier, so that was easy enough. These sorters, 1 and 2. And then the only thing left is this thing. I need to make some refined obsidian, which means we need to use our osmium compressor. Now, did we make one of these already? I don't know if we did. We made a combiner, which is actually kind of, yeah, it looks the same, but it isn't. So I'll set one of these up really quick. I requested 100 alloys because we're going to need a load of these alloys. And as you can see, the thing that is stopping us right now is the fact that our basic logistical transporters, which is pulling out of this chest, is too slow. So we could upgrade the transporters, and I might do that because we actually have 8 right here, so we can knock all of these off and then combine them, transporters, with 1 alloy to get the higher version. Combine them again with one of the reinforced alloys to get the higher version again, and combine them again with the atomic to get the ultimate transporter, which is super quick. You can right click on this with one of these infused alloys, and say you've got 8 of these all connected like in a big long row here. If you right click on one of them, all 8 will turn. But if you right click on one of these, I know it's diagonal, so you'd think it would do the diagonal right there. Yeah, that's not how that works. It won't actually do that. It won't activate both of them. It would just do the one. So I am going to knock all of these off and upgrade them. I'm not going to do it yet, but yeah, that's something to think about. I am going to do it now, and I got the top tier alloy. Goal achieved. Still not a quest though. I don't think it's... all the power is in here, but... and there is a mechanism chapter. Did I just not activate this one yet? Not a big fan of how that happens right there, but yeah, maybe I should have activated this. We would have got like a bunch of stuff already. This one's all about ore processing. I'm not going to get into ore quadrupling. I think that's how it is. Or is it 5 times? I'm not sure. But yeah, we are just going to knock all of these off. There's been some issues recently with using a pickaxe on certain bits. So you will crash. At least I have crashed. I don't know if it's for everybody, but I've crashed where I've used my Aldermodium pickaxe on a shaft from Create. I did that last episode. I didn't mention it, but I probably should have, so apologies for that. But I'm actually going to get the configurator, which I probably put in my backpack. Yeah, I did. It's right there. And you can set the configurator to wrench mode, and then shift, and then right click, and you will just knock these off. So quickly do one of those, and then I can combine these. You can do this with every single type of mechanism pipe, or whatever you want to call these. So transporter, tube, pipe, whatevs. So I can do that. I probably should have put those in my inventory first for quests, but tis fine, tis fine. And then I also need to change this from wrench mode. Do it the other way around, whoops. And do this for every single one of them as well. So I've got my osmium compressor, there's a bit of power here, so I just lobbed it here for now. Stick this one in the bottom, find obsidian in the top. And this is super slow because I haven't got the upgrades on it yet, but I could upgrade this. I don't think I'm going to, because I'm not really going to use this for much. I'm only using this now because I've got that amount. I might actually make some gear out of this because it seems pretty good. I think I need some new leggings. So the leggings right there, you get like a bunch of HP. Seems to be pretty decent. I know the sword is... Does it say it on there? Where's the leggings? Leggings is 8 armor and 5 diamond thingy. And I think that's knockback resistance, plus 20%. Whereas Netherite is 6, 3, plus 10. So find obsidian is very good. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. That's annoying. There you go. So I'm going to make this. I also need 2 for the Robbit. 1 and 2. And I need to make a personal security chest as well. So make all of those bits, and we'll be back to craft a digital miner. There we go. I just got some new trousers, and it did say better than Netherite, and it is. So there we go. Right, we've got, I think, everything now that we can do to make this. 1 and 2. Robbit. Let's make this personal chest. I can tell it to go off and make some steel. And for the chests, I can always just run out here. Grab one of those. Again, my sounds are all knackered right now, so I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. We'll just make one of these personal chests. Chest. That's also an achievement. Brilliant. So now I'm just missing some steel. So that will go off and make us some steel. There is the Robbit. And the only thing left to do is make the atomic alloys, which should be ridiculously quick. It's probably nearly done already. There you go. 1 and 2. Digital miner. The sounds are knackered. Great. Right, we're in the nether. I am just going to plonk this down. You need to set a config. So the filter I'm going to use... Always forget how to do this. Can I do nether... No, what's it called? Ancient. Ancient debris. No item. Amazing. Okay, I might have to do it off of... Is it item stack? No item. Brilliant. I always forget how this works. I think previously what I've done is I've put in whatever the tag is. So if I come out of this and do F3H, it shows hidden. And right there, Forge, Oz, Netherite Scrap is what we're looking for. So, new filter, tag, Forge. Okay. Forge. I can't be hovering over this, otherwise when I press the R button, it will try and look up the recipes. So that's Forge, Ores, and then slash Netherite Scrap. Nether. Is that how you spell Netherite? And then ITE underscore scrap. Tick. Save. There we go. So radius, I'm going to do like as much as it can. And it will always put the highest it can right there. Minimum, you want to do minus like as many as you can. Minimum is minus 0. Well, it was 0. Okay. Does it go to minuses in the nether? I always forget. And then maximum, again, we'll just put highest it can do. So from 0 to 255. Excellent. So that's the config. We can now tell it to mine that, but obviously we want to give it a little bit of power. And what you can do as well, where's the power thing for the, oh, there it is. We can do for this is you can stick it, there we go. You can stick it on export, put a ender chest right on top or at the back, wherever these two dots are. I think there's one on the bottom as well. And then you go start. And there we go, we got one. That's pretty good. It says 27 to mine, so that's pretty decent. I think we're doing alright right there. Now again, these can take the upgrades that we had in the other things. So if we do a quick /home, raining, brilliant. And we make a couple more of those upgrades. Mech. One of those, or 8 of these, 8 of these. Quickly make some of those, and then I'll go pop them in the digital miner. There we go, made a few of those. I can just shift and right click those on. You can also do the upgrades and put them in here, but it takes a little bit longer for the upgrades to go in. So if I do uninstall all of those, you can stick them in like that. You see they used to have a loading bar and it would do one at a time. Must have changed that. I learned something new today, that's good. But there you go, we've got 28 ancient debris. Now, we've already... I'm not a big fan of the rain. Brilliant. We've already found out that you can triple these by... I think you crush them first. Crusher, yeah. And you get the dirty netherite scrap. And then you put those through the enrichment chamber and you can get... wait, this one. And you can, yeah, make them regular netherite scrap. So, this is a really bad idea, but I'm going to nab those out. How are we doing on our melons? Really good, really good. If you didn't see my quick guides, or whatever I'm calling it now, then yeah, I'm basically doing this little thing in a separate video. So if anybody has any more suggestions on what I should do for those sort of quick guides, please just leave me a comment and I'll probably get around to it at some point when I've got a bit of free time. And out of all of that, what was it, 28? Something like that, 29? We got just over a stack of dirty netherite scrap. And we can lob those in here. Got ourselves a bunch of netherite. So with this, we are going to make a couple of blocks of netherite, hopefully. I think we've got enough to do a few blocks. Get a little bit of gold in there. And 21. That's 3 blocks right there. 2 blocks. What happened to my maths? Who knows? So we can take 2 of these. One of these we can feed to one of our diamond bees, and then the other one can be the pollination block. And from then on, we don't need to do anything with netherite. Right, there we go. So we've got 1 netherite block down. I can do that, and feed you one of those. Got ourselves an ancient bee, and it's going to pollinate on that. We've probably got a lot of emerald bees right now. Yeah, quite a bit. So we can instead... I don't even know where that went. Interesting. We can put the bat bee in this one. I believe the ancient bee. That's not how you spell it. Ancient bee. It doesn't say it can't pollinate with itself like it does with the moddedminecraft bee. So in this case, I think we're fine to sort of accept that it will pollinate with itself and make us a couple more bat bees like it's done with these ones here. That is a lot of emerald and that is a lot of diamond. And then I think on this side I'm going to do... Well, what can this breed with? A wither skeleton bee and a draconic bee. I think the draconic bee, you can't see the recipe for it, but if you do one of those, can get a dragon. Wow, its pollination is a dragon egg. So maybe we put a dragon egg in here. I want to put it down one because that way it won't get stuck on the corners or whatever. And did it say that it can't breed with itself? And we'll do the same thing. It doesn't say it, so we can breed up a bunch of draconic bees. And then the wither bees is you take a skeletal bee and a wither rose. And then you get a wither bee, and I believe the wither bee... its pollination block is the wither rose. So we might have to break out into the corners here, and I'll make maybe this one the wither bee, the one over here I'll make the draconic bee, one in the middle will be our moddedminecraft bee, and then maybe in the corners over here I'll have an unobtainium bee and a vibranium bee. That's the plan. We're going to go bees. Full on bees. And with that, I think we are going to call it an episode. So let's have a look at the stats. We are currently at 2.32 days. So 0.1 of a day we played today. Which is what, 2.5 hours? Something like that. Excellent. Well, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Just making a little bit of crumpet. We got these little plasticky tray things that we slot into the fridge. So let me show you in our fridge. There we go. We have got a cake in here for some reason right now. But yeah, these are really useful. You can just plop in, like this one here is for olives and like little pickles and things like that. But what you can do is you can just slide them out, plonk them down. This one's got some jam and some butter, and I'm going to use that for my crumpet. Also, before we move on, this is a raspberry conserve, so it's not even a jam. What's the difference? Now, crumpets in the UK normally come in like a circular fashion. We've got these lovely out square ones. Very hot right now because you stick it in the toaster. And yeah, what you do then, stick a bit of butter on them. I'm going to put some conserve jam. I'm going to put jam on them. I call it jam. And there we go. Look how beautiful that looks. I've got a little story about, not crumpets specifically, but jams and spreadables and things. So my grandmother, she runs or used to run a bed and breakfast, and she had some German people come, and
what a bed and breakfast is, obviously you give them breakfast. So she laid out all of the spreads. So bit of jam, bit of, you know, all these different things. One of the things she laid out was Marmite. And back in the day, Marmite wasn't really well known. But Marmite is this like, it's a weird tasting like yeast extract. And what you do is you put on your toast, you put a little bit of butter, and then you put a little bit of Marmite. And yeah, it tastes quite nice to some people. I think the tagline for it is you either love it or you hate it. But what Germans are used to doing is they get a ton of like jam and they just loads of jam all over the top. So they saw this Marmite and they piled the Marmite on top. And apparently my grandmother walked in as they were all gagging because it's quite a strong flavour. You only want to put a little bit on there. And obviously they had a big mound of Marmite all over it. They took a bite, each of them pretty much the same time took a bite, and scared the absolute bejesus out of my grandmother because, yeah, that is a sight to see your bed and breakfast person, people, like choking on what is basically a very thick layer of yeast extract.